do this in your 40s. You don't have to be some 20-year-old guy out there. You can go out there and still do this as midlife. You don't have to bow down to, hey, I can't. You can. So that's kind of the legacy I'll leave. You can do this. You can compete. You can win races, and you can achieve your goals.
Cody and Rose, that was a compliment.
Yes.
All right, so now I'd like to ask Zuzana Kosovo a couple questions. You were our world champion last year as well. Describe your race strategy last year that led to such a dominant performance.
Last year I also haven't been sitting there. I even wasn't there. I was maybe somewhere around, and it was good for me because nobody knows me, and I was even on the start line. I was standing somewhere behind. I was looking at all favorites going above the wall, and I was standing here in my jacket, and I think it was the best thing for me. This year it's really different. It's the same as Robert told me. I will have target maybe on my back, I hope, on my back. And we will see, it will be a big difference from last year. But I like this nature, I like these surroundings, I like these mountains, and I hope I will enjoy it.
What's been the biggest reason for your amazing performances this year?
Honestly, I think for me, it doesn't matter where the arena is. It could be my backyard or Tahoe. I just love to compete. See some of the greatest athletes in the world. Doesn't matter who you are, what you look like. You can put up a fight. Cody, the old man, shows up. Fight in the middle. Did something amazing, and that motivates me. To get crushed by somebody like that, it makes me go back to the drawing board and to look at a field like this and know that there's a lot of sneaky people hiding in the grass, like Hogan called, where the hell are you? This man to my right, another man to my right, they were unheard of in the past few years, and I think that's something that's incredible. Honestly, anybody has the opportunity, but I'm going to be a sit in the starting line and making sure that I whip your ass. So, yeah.
We all know that this is one of the most intense races out there. What kind of athlete does it take to win this race? And what's it going to take? And Hunter, you don't have to be the only one who answers if anyone wants to follow up.
Yeah. Honestly, I think the person who trains the hardest and has the most dedication. There's a lot of miles, there's a lot of minutes between the start line and the finish line. I think the champion is going to be found somewhere in the middle of that. There's a lot of guys who push hard from the start, a lot of girls who finish hard at the end. But it's someone who just kind of finds that moment and dedicates themselves. You saw somebody like Ryan Atkins struggling to win the championships, but within the last 100 yards of the race, he did something that was just unheard of, incredibly athletic feat. So I think everybody has the opportunity. I think it's like, everyone who's sitting up here has a lot of guts, and it's not just the races, it's everyday life that's kind of challenging to become a champion.
Lindsay. Let's talk about the amazing year that you've had this year. What was the big difference between that year and this year? What really led to your breakout year this year?
Last year was my first year, and I think in this sport, especially with obstacles, there's definitely a learning curve there. And just having another year of experience under my belt, has definitely made a big difference. And then sort of being focused in my training and knowing what I'm facing out there and being able to eke out every last percentage of performance. I've been focused on that all year, so we'll see tomorrow.
And so, we talked about the whole year. What kind of legacy are you looking to leave behind this year? You've won the U.S. Championship Series, but what's next for the great Lindsay Webster?
Hunter's distracting. Well, I think it was actually Faye who said it in the video we just watched, but what did you say? It was like changing the way that we see women in sport or something like that. What did you say?
Yeah, I just thought it's actually going to be in front for just a little bit, but I'm just saying I'm trying to help expand what it means to be a woman, with the definition of femininity. It doesn't mean change it, so if someone falls into the box that's already there and doesn't really like that box, that's okay. I'm not saying not, but just expand what that means, like being strong, being muscular. That can be a part of being a woman, and it can be part of being a feminine woman. It can be something that we can be proud of.
See, Rose is so well spoken. It's such an empowering sport to be a woman in, and that's definitely one of my goals that I'm working toward.
Incredible. Thank you, Lindsay. Thank you, Rose. But guys, can we all give a round of applause to Lindsay? She went 4 for 4.
Because I have these girls chasing me down to keep me motivated.
Motivated you all year long.
I think that having Lindsay there in my corner and, as a training partner and as just a partner in general is very motivating. We both use each other as sounding boards in our training and our personal life, and I think we both help each other stay centered and stay focused on, what's really important, and that isn't, getting overly anxious or worked up about a specific race. It's about, being the best version of yourself that you can be, and putting forth a great effort in sport and in life, and she's really shown me that, and it's something I aspire to.
So, how did you prepare for this race? Was it anything different that you did than you had for the previous rest of the season? Because you did win 3 races in a row to lead off this series.
Yeah, so to prepare for this race, I basically tried to guess what they would do for the course, and I think I guessed pretty correctly, and I just took all those elements and kicked my ass as much as I could in training to prepare for all those specific things, and I think I did a good job, and I'm ready for what it has for us out there.
So what are your biggest strengths as an obstacle racing athlete? What would you say?
I think my biggest strengths would be that I really want it. I'm not going to just roll over. I mean, I'm not going to get discouraged because someone passes me or I get 5 minutes behind. I'm going to fight until the finish line no matter what. And then I think just being an all-round athlete, I like to think that I can climb well, descend well, carry stuff well, and get over obstacles really well. And that's what it takes.
John, what kind of athlete does it take to win at the World Championships here compared to the European Championships?
Specifically, I guess, takes, as Ryan said, an all-round athlete, someone that can climb well, descend well, carry stuff, and set the obstacles well, feed themselves, because it's a long course, we can be out there for a few hours. I think specifically for this course is someone that's going to be acclimatised to the 2,000 metres elevation at the moment. It's kind of a big hit if you're not acclimatised. It takes a lot more physical energy to sort of like overcome that, and also mental energy. So I think that's one of the biggest things for me specifically.
So you're going to say that altitude is a huge factor in your race tomorrow?
Yeah, I'd say I'd put a lot of money on the fact that I think the person that's going to win on the man and female side would be acclimatised to the elevation.
So you've been around for a few years now in the sport, and you came on and emerged as a world champion when no one here in the States knew who you were, but you'd obviously been winning across the pond. But you've seen the sport evolve, so talk a bit about how you've seen the sport change over the last few years.
Yeah, I guess this is probably my 5th or 6th year obstacle racing, and then Spartan racing specifically sort of like 3 or 4 years now, so it has come a hell of a long way. I mean, to sit down and have a talk about drug testing, I mean, if you could imagine that 5 years ago, I definitely couldn't. So it's come a long way, it's got a long way to go, and it's just exciting to see where it leads. I'm also quite passionate about competing in other sports and showing, I'm now labelled as an obstacle racer, so showing people in other sports that we can actually go into other sports and beat them at their own game as well. So.
Rose Wetzel.
Hello?
Hello.
What you got for me?
With everything that this sport brings to the table, what makes obstacle racing so special for you?
Like John, and many people out there actually, I've done a lot of sports, and apparently I'm old or something. But just gotten the opportunity to be around a lot of different communities, and the obstacle racing community is just amazing and supportive and stellar. This sport in and of itself, what was your question?
What makes it so special for you?
So special, yes. So the sport in and of itself is special because it requires such a well-rounded athlete. I mean, you can run, that's great, but you have to be able to run, not just run, speedy, short, but run long, run up mountains, run down mountains, different skill. You have to have good grip strength, upper body strength. You have to have balance, fearlessness, guts. And I'm not saying that like in track and field and in American Enjoyer, some of those components are necessary, but neither of them require all of them, and this sport does. So when I look at the people that I compete with, I just see such well-rounded athletes. And I'm impressed with how people can come from other sports and you know, take their skills, work on their weaknesses, and just become these strong, like just like barbarian type people. And it's impressive. It's fun.
We always talk about how the races are kind of an emotional journey. They're a little up and down, but everyone from a beginner all the way up to the top level athletes, they all have similar experiences when they're out there. So speak a little bit about those emotions that you might share with just anybody who would go out and do an obstacle race.
You know, last year this time, I was actually very emotional. My husband had been diagnosed with cancer, and I was, right before the race, I'm standing there, it's really weird, and we're chit-chatting about like just what I'm going through, what we're going through, and I just realized how lucky I was that for 3 hours, 2.5 hours, which is way longer than I like to race, by the way, but that's okay. For 2.5 hours, I didn't have to worry about my husband dying from cancer, which is not going to, by the way. I just gotta think about racing. I gotta just not think at all, really. I gotta just be in the moment, and I gotta get in my body and just focus on whatever was in front of me in the next 10 seconds. Whether it was an obstacle, whether it was a mountain. And it was kind of like a vacation for my mind, as weird as that sounds. As painful as the race itself was, I found joy in it. And so we're all lucky that we get to be here and that we're healthy enough to do this, because it is such a privilege. You really stop and think about it. We're so lucky to be here. So, yeah, emotional sometimes a little bit.
Thank you. Relative newcomer in the sport, and you kind of burst on the scene at the end of last season and really have made a name for yourself this year. So what's it been like for you to become such an emerging star in the sport?
Yeah, it's been a complete dream. Just like Robert, I was sitting, well, like you guys are sitting, I was sitting there last year looking at all these elite girls, and I remember just thinking, these girls aren't in better shape than me. I will be there. I just haven't figured out the sport yet. Like, I figured out running and I figured out weightlifting, but you can't get away with just running and just doing traditional weightlifting. You have to merge the two. And I remember sitting there and I was so jealous of these girls. And I was like, I was so angry, and I will be there. So yeah, like again, like Robert said, anything is possible. And you people that are sitting there kind of coming top 20 or top 50 or whatever in this world championship race, if you train really, really, really hard and you really focus, you can be here next year. So it's been amazing. I've been having, this is the funnest thing I think I've ever done.
Well, I'm going to segue on that a little bit. And, your preparation obviously has changed a lot. You talked about mastering different disciplines, putting it all together. So how has your training changed from last year to this year to prepare for this event?
I'm a really stubborn person, and I get that from my dad. And so basically, I just kind of stopped getting stuck in my ways and doing the things that I knew that I could do to get in decent shape. Like doing my traditional 1 mile repeats and doing my squats and doing all this traditional stuff. And I started to take advice from other people. So I have a coach, Chad's here, Joe DI. I got a running coach, and I took the advice from all these people, and I really thought about it, and I, with their help, devised a training plan that works for me. And the number one thing that has changed is it's very, very specific. So, like, I'm in the gym with a bucket, like, all the time. Like, people are like, what is that? Is that bucket? Are you gonna puke in that bucket? Is that what the bucket's for? I'm like, no, I do my lunges with my bucket, I do my step-ups with my bucket, I do everything with the bucket, because that's what you need in a race. So if I can give any tips to anyone, the number one thing is specificity, and that's helped me a lot this year. And second thing has just been, I took a leave of absence. I was really, really lucky with work. They told me to go do my mud runs. They don't think it's that big of a deal. They're like, oh, run in the mud and come back in 4 months. And I was like, okay, that's what I'll do. So I left work, and so that's just given me this time. So a lot of it is logistics. Like, you know, you do have to have a lot of free time to put in the type of training that it takes to be here. And I understand that not everyone has that. I mean, I'm very lucky because I was able to stop work. I don't have kids. I don't really have any responsibilities other than to train. So that's been huge to my success as well.
Cody Moe, our 2012 world champion. Yeah, you put together the perfect race, and as I recall, you won the Ultra Beast as well that same day. But I mean, how do you gauge success? Are you looking to put together the perfect race tomorrow, or what's it going to take?
Most definitely. I mean, I know it's in there. It's just a matter of pulling it out, and you know, it's one of those things. Sometimes it's a mystery. You wonder where it is, and you know, last year I thought I'm going to have it. It didn't happen, and this year it's been rough. I've had a rough year. I felt like Breckenridge. I felt it again, and I'm just hoping that tomorrow will come together.
So, after so many years coming so close to the title, what would a title tomorrow mean for you?
I think it'd be pretty awesome to come back 4 years after the title and to win it. I think it would, you know, just, you know, I guess it'd be without words like I am right now. Just to see that happen, to think that I might be old. I'm getting old, but I still, you know, I still have it. And I'm not gonna let my age get the best of me.
That's Margaret from Mud Run Guide.
Yeah, Margaret!
I actually have 2 questions. One is from a Facebook Live right now, and Lindsay, it's for you. Peter Dobis says, are you going to do a cartwheel if you hit your spear throw tomorrow?
I think he's referring to the Asheville race. I had never hit a spear throw in a race until Asheville, and I got so excited that I don't know what I was thinking. I did a cartwheel. So, yeah, I mean, we'll see how close behind me the other girls are.
Something else is going to be so much worse. Just the suffering in your lungs and your legs. So a little bit of cold water, I don't think is going to be that big a deal.
I might have to drop the mic on all of you. I did the winter Agogi in Vermont, and it was negative 30 degrees. So I don't think the water will bother me that much more.
For OCR. Question for the guys here now. We've got to watch the sport evolve and grow. I remember actually in 2014 at the same press conference, listening to Jonathan Alvin talk about you know, this dark horse in the back of the Alvin. Last year, we heard once again Mr. Killian and yourself talking about being on the other side of this right now. It's beautiful. It's great to hear these stories. And it makes you raise the question, you know, have we seen all the players in the field? Have we seen kind of thing, or are we still growing like crazy? So kind of my question to you guys here in the past, Mr. Killian yourself, what kind of years of inspiration would you guys give to guys out there, or like yourself in the past?
Ultimately, the most powerful tool you can have is self-belief. And every start line I've ever competed in my life, in any sport, I've always believed that I can win. And if you show up at the start line tomorrow with that belief, then it can be a possibility. And if you don't have that belief, then you'll be defeated before the race even starts.
Yeah, I'll segue into also kind of what David.
Biceps win races.
It's about time management. I mean, a lot of people up here have family, they have a job. You know, much like everyone sitting out there, you're trying to figure out how can I be at the next level, and it's really about setting that goal and achieving it. But you know, life gets in the way, things get in the way, work gets in the way. You really have to just say, hey, I'm not going to let this get in the way. I'm going to find a way. I'm going to wake up early. I'm going to go to bed late, and you just really have to get out there and get after it. That's the only way you're going to achieve it. Last year I balanced military. My daughter was born almost 3 weeks before the race, and I still came out here. I didn't let that, you know, make it any excuse to finish anything but on top of the podium. So I think at the end of the day, I mean, it's just grit. It's your desire, and it's your true ability to want to achieve a goal that you set. I mean, that's the bottom line that did it for me, and that's the only advice I can give to someone trying to make it onto that next level.
I'll just add to that. I think a lot of it is surrounding yourself with other motivating people. I have like the best training partners in the world, and we keep it fun. You know, these workouts are hard, and sometimes it's a struggle to get to them. So find anything you can to just keep this sport fun, keep yourself motivated. For me, I'm a really social person, so I like working out with other people. And I went around Calgary, where I'm from, and I found the fittest guys, and I'm like, we're training together, and we got this group now. So find good training partners, keep it fun, keep it light, and just enjoy it. And if you like something and if you're passionate about it, you'll do well in it.
Harry, I also read that you just won Best Ranger 2016. How does that compare to the Spartan racing and the preparation?
Yeah, so that was a big segue into my season last year, and I think what made the transition into OCR so seamless is we do a lot of the same obstacles, within the competition. It's a 72-hour event. You're pitted against the most elite guys in the military, so you are out there training, just crushing yourself, doing a lot of road marching, a lot of heavy carries, a lot of cross training, a lot of running, a lot of shooting, and it really boosted my confidence for this season coming into it. I've tried to compete 5 years, came second place 2 years in a row, and I was bound and determined to keep going back until I won. I knew I was going to do it eventually, and sometimes it takes that. You need technique, you need experience. That's one of the things that doing races out here this season. I think I've had that experience, and it's just built upon everything that I was shortfalling on last year. I think I've expanded upon, worked on my weaknesses. And we were segueing to earlier, there are a lot of athletes out there that aren't sitting up here that I feel like are going to do great tomorrow. And, they're on my radar. Chad Trimmel over there. I mean, there's definitely, and on hill, we've been battling, I'll go out and do an NBC race, I'll go out and do a hurricane heat, and who's standing at the finish line or the starting line next day is him and I, battling it out, 2 races this season. It was amazing. And, Hobie Call, he's somewhere out there, you never know. He's been preparing specifically just for this race, just for World Champs this year. And anybody could come out and crush tomorrow. It's going to be an amazing race. I'm super excited to just go out there and battle it out. I literally just can't wait for the start. It's just the anxiety, the anticipation. I just wanted to get started so we can get on the road. And then, of course, Sunday, rolling right into the Ultra Beast. So I will be facing some of that weather on Sunday, Margaret. But yeah, it's going to be brutal. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to cap off my Delta. Another thing I think that's really prepared me for this season is, embracing everything that Spartan has to offer, not just racing, but going out there and really seeing the things that people do to really, push themselves, doing a hurricane heat, doing a go heat. In Austria, I stayed at the finish line for the last person to finish. Nobody's there cheering, nobody's there to support them. Just the self-gratification you see from someone jumping over the fire at their last race when no one's around. That's what motivates me. That's why I do it. Like it said, you'll know at the finish line. It's very true. And if you haven't felt that feeling, then I don't think you really experienced all that Spartan has to offer.
When it comes to the start line, everybody in OCR, we hang out together behind the scenes and we're good friends. And then, once you hit that start line, it's we still love each other, but it's time to throw down kind of thing. So, it's not really the narrative. We think about it in training all season, and Faye made a Facebook post the other day. We spend all season trying to out-train each other, and then when it comes to the race, it's just time to see, who's done that. So, yeah.
I want to thank all the athletes that came up for the panel today. A round of applause for them as well. U.S. Championship Series party members. Lindsay, you don't have to answer your questions. Or at least one. You can say. Lindsay, describe your emotions just winning the championship series in such a dominant way.
It's definitely a bit surreal and puts the pressure on a bit for next year. How I've so far this season been undefeated. The World Championship for us, so we'll see. But it's hard to beat that. So I guess I'm just focused a lot on racing against myself to try to beat my own time. And,
Well, thank you very much, Lindsay, and everybody again. One huge congratulations to the women of Spartan, your partner finishers for the U.S. Championship Series.